Lucas is a remarkably organized and deeply engaged individual whose curiosity knows no bounds. Science is his passion, but his love for learning extends beyond any single subject. He thrives on understanding the world and its complexities. Driven by a strong internal motivation, Lucas approaches life with focus, purpose, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. He holds himself to the highest standards, guided by a strong moral compass and strong belief in doing the right thing. Sensitive and self-aware, Lucas always shows up as his true self, and his speech really illustrates that. So without further ado, Lucas Yin.
Good afternoon to all the students, teachers, and parents here today. In a few minutes, I will attempt to explain everything that I've experienced, which has changed and developed me to who I am right now, standing here with you, talking to you all. I went to collegiate on the first day. I had no expectations for what the assignments, projects, and subjects would look like. Now here I am, making a speech in front of over 70 students, teachers, and parents, reflecting on my achievements, growth, and the progress I've made. But I saw a lot of things ahead of me, such as moving, university, and summer programs, and I'm still not sure what to do about. But now is the time to look past everything I've done. School is not about trying to learn everything, it's about learning what you're interested in. This quote changed what I thought about school when I heard it. It was one of the many nights when we would talk about everything, from school to personal projects and family. When my father said that, it stuck around with me, and now I believe it's the perfect quote that describes everything I've done throughout my years at collegiate. I learned that school is not a place where you memorize dates, take tests, or do homework. It's the place where you focus each subject and see if you want to become a mathematician, a writer, a scientist, a historian, or a lawyer. For the longest time, I had comfortable experiences with every subject in elementary school. I thought that all the subjects were just there to make you smart or something. So for all the subjects I've done, none of them stuck out as interesting, challenging, or easy. For me, they were all equally easy. Going to collegiate, my mindset was that I would just learn a subject, study it, do a test or two, and finish. However, my first year brought me a wave of unexpected effort required for school. Instead of all of them being easy, some classes were easier or harder than others, and some of them were more fun or boring. The first year at collegiate wasn't exactly hard, but consumed far more free time than I wanted it to. It wouldn't take long for me to decide that science, particularly in the fields of microbiology, was going to be what I put all my passion, effort, and free time into. I began to take interest in the workings of our immune system, learning explosively fast. It was to the point that by the time the class began learning about the immune system, I already knew more than what was being discussed in class. Watching, reading, and learning all about it felt like I was seeing something that truly grabbed my interest. I began to learn a lot about microbiology, which got me into a hobby of making elaborate slideshows and reading long books about the immune system. Now I can read articles on the National Library of Medicine, look at diseases in a new light, and understand more about current events involving microbiology. Our science class was something that clicked for me at first sight. I thought history class was going to be hard and boring. In most media, history class has been portrayed as that boring class where all you do is learn and memorize. Instead, history class has been one of my most enjoyable classes, and the image of history being lectures has been thrown out the window. In the first two classes, most teachers take their time to introduce themselves, ease students into the way the classroom works, tell the rules, and explain what happened. But history class on the first day instantly started off by talking about democracies and forms of government. There was barely even an introduction. Coupled with the fact that history class was only in the afternoon, the first three classes didn't feel like they meant much to me. Our Constitution unit was when I began to enjoy the classes. Mr. Haas is one of the funniest teachers in our grade, and I enjoyed answering the Constitution. I don't know exactly why, but I think it was because from a combination of enjoying marking up the Constitution and talking to my dad about their impacts, current events, and controversies related to the articles. My dad would always challenge my opinions with questions that were really fun to tackle. In class, participation increased as I gave out more of my own opinions on past topics, and my understanding of American politics improved. While I may not become a lawyer or historian in the future, I certainly have improved my feelings towards this class. Maybe I just like controversies and putting my opinions on them, but the new Civil War unit and the previous units we've all been doing have been really fun. Academic projects, assignments, maybe even homework have always been challenging but fun. I've always enjoyed working on paragraphs, diagrams, and illustrations. But for sports, I pretty much never played a sport. In elementary school, my parents made me sign up for soccer, and it was absolutely terrible. I quit after the first season, and that was the only experience I've had with sports. So when I went to collegiate, I expected things to be the same as always. I would only do academic stuff, never physical. But things changed when my parents signed me up for cross country. Naturally, I was terrified. I wanted nothing to do with running long distances or keeping up pace. I seriously did not want to go. And when I started cross country, the first year was nothing short of horrible. Every day was a struggle, and I would just anticipate the practices after day, where excruciating pain was met every day. I wanted to quit after the first day, after a week, even after a month, I still wanted to quit. It would take a whole new season for practices just to be a little more enjoyable. In that new season, my parents tried to give me a better mindset on cross country. And while the first week or so was still painful, I quickly learned to become used to the pain and improved significantly from last year, especially mentally. Practices only became half piles of pain, with the other half being actually enjoyable. The members of the cross country team made practices much more bearable for me, and by the end, I made strides in improvement in attitude towards cross country. 8th grade is when the small to significant improvements changed into huge accomplishments and major strides. While I can talk about everything that happened this year that was so much better than last year, I would just say that on the first meet, I cut my time by around a whole minute, and then by 30 seconds. Now I've passed my 3rd year in cross country, and I'm now on track, where most, if not all the people from cross country are in, and it's been a great season so far. I used to go from never doing sports to doing sports in all 3 seasons. Sports also helped me with another part of me that I've been notoriously bad at, socializing. In elementary school, I could go through an entire day without talking to anyone. I didn't talk or play with anyone, I would never share any projects I created, and most of my time during recess was just wandering around by myself. Coming to collegiate, 6th and 7th grade saw no difference for me. Wandering during breaks by myself, rarely talking during classes at lunch, and keeping work to myself. My brain wouldn't react to most jokes or anything, so school didn't feel fun anymore. By the time 8th grade began, I knew I had to make friends, or else I would have a socially miserable social life like the last 2 years. This school year was when I decided to make a huge social change. While I was kind of in friend groups in the past, I was never really in a friend group. So when I decided to actually join a friend group, I was scared. What if I walked in and they hated me or thought I was weird? What would I even talk about? Even now, I still hold back a lot of things that I would want to talk about. But instead of judgmental looks, I was eased into the group. I talked about whatever was on my mind, listened when I had nothing to talk about, and they were all very welcoming and held no grudges when I said something stupid or didn't mean. In fact, my friends would make me join something even bigger, KYA. Before KYA, I never thought about presenting to such a large audience, an audience full of random students who I've never met before. That's the last thing I would do. Not being a social person, I didn't think I would end up doing it. With encouragement from my parents and friends, I began working on KYA. My father helped a lot by pointing out the many issues that plagued my speaking. I was disorganized, spoke too quickly, and would stutter a lot. To improve, I set small goals to work my way up to confidence. My father assigned small speech projects, which helped me gain composure, and KYA practices gave me feedback. My partners told me to emphasize my words and slow down, which let me know how others interpreted my speaking. Many times, though, they would say I was too slow. All of this was tested on conference day, which meant keeping composure in front of about 100 observing students and giving a speech. And when I got on that stage, I accomplished what I set to do. I built my confidence in public speaking. Now, if I want to talk about an experience, a story, or an idea, I can go on a stage and give a speech. And here I am again, testing my public speaking skills on a stage again, in front of 70 students, as well as teachers and parents. I also presented a resolution for Kuna as well. While Kuna and KYA required work outside of school time, I've almost never had a personal hobby. School was my life for a very long time, and I didn't have any other side projects I would work on. Last year, my dad wanted me to work on something that wasn't just related to school, and I only had 2 interests at the time, video editing and sketch drawing. Already losing interest in sketch drawing but never forgetting it, I went with video editing because I always wanted to make videos and use powerful editing software. When I began editing, it was overwhelming. Learning all the tools and content with editing is hard, and it still is. The first thing I did was picking editing software. I went with DaVinci Resolve, a free software that had advanced features which meant lots of tutorial watching. My first few videos involved simple movements with keyframes, timing and position placements that allowed movement on a track-based system. Now I need the opportunities for recording things. These opportunities came during school projects. When projects had a video as an option, I would make one, but I would never record myself, so I used Minecraft instead. Modifications would record, keyframe, and render camera shots. Then I would edit them, namely transitions and music what I would add. Music adds a lot with very little. And now my editing and production journey is nowhere near finished. I'm still learning and I'm trying to work on making high quality videos with more elements like tracking and layering. When my work is not done, I'm more determined to learn this medium than before. All of these stories were based on the quote, school is not about trying to learn everything, it's about learning what you're interested in. Those words from my father helped me form a mindset that has allowed me to do everything I've been doing. It's what convinced me to try so many things that I've done now. And now I've done so much with my years at school. I couldn't have done it without all my friends and family. So let me give my dedication. For my family, I have to thank my mother for keeping everything together. She does immense planning for trips, visits, extracurricular activities, and so much more. Making sure that my brother and I are still able to do everything that we want to do, while still having room for my sister, who's also at college. All of that, and you have to keep up with jobs, cooking, and so much more. My family wouldn't be a thing without both my mother and father, and I sincerely thank both of them for making everything my family and I have done. For school, I had to thank Miss Khan. While all the teachers at Collegiate have been great, Miss Khan really helped a lot for 8th grade. The many times she would talk to me about school grades, handling emotion, or middle school experiences, just being a great advisor, Miss Khan would help with anything I needed at any time. She's also an amazing science teacher who got me into current events with microbiology. She even wrote me a recommendation letter for a summer program that I got accepted into. And last, but definitely not least, my father. He's been the one to change my mindset to let me grab and take the opportunities that stuck out to me. He would always encourage me to try new things and keep pursuing the interests I had. He told me to keep learning microbiology, to keep learning video editing, to keep running cross country, to give KY time, and to work on public speaking. He would even talk to me and my brother about what we've done, what we're interested in, and would even set up small goals and support for us. My dad was truly the biggest driving factor to me doing everything I've done, and I need to give my thanks to him for allowing all this to become possible. Thank you so much to all the people who have changed my life in a positive direction. I wouldn't be here without you all, so thank you.